studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from the sports. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabonyonitono. That is in case you've just joined. And just a quick reminder, we are here every weekday from 6:30. That's when Good Morning Uganda begins live on your television set, wherever you are. So make it a date with us, the Fantastic Four, because we spice up your morning so light. Some a bit of light moments, jokes here and there, yet very informative information. You're able to fit in any worth discussing topic of the day, because we give you what's happening on the globe. We come back home here, the print media, sports. Well, it's a fully packaged meal that you can't afford to miss. Now, in this extension, we usually have a guest and discuss issues of national concern. Today, I have a man who has been in a number of countries where tourism is at its peak, and he has been able to survive a few of these. He left Uganda, as many have gone, as security guards. Then he worked for a number of organizations. Then he integrated into a number of security agencies that have been handling issues of tourism far away from Uganda. He is now with an organization who happens to be the Global Peace Ambassador. Join me, welcome this interesting character, who is Milton Kambura. Good morning, Milton.
Good morning, comrade.
How have you been?
We are fighting terrorism, we'll defeat them, and we'll go back to their mothers. That's what we are doing right now.
I introduced you as an interesting character, I must say, indeed, and very passionate. But defeating terrorism, I had some person who said you can win battles but not the war, because this is continuous.
Uganda is an exceptional, because after the war in 1986, the president battled the soft power systems of the ADF, all these terrorists, and we have defeated them. And I thank His Excellency the President, General Museveni, for having even exported our security apparatus and our strength to the neighboring countries, including Middle East, where I worked for several years fighting terrorism. So I thank Mr. President and your government, and we will defeat these ones, because going to the church means they are cowards. They are cowards, and we will defeat them, and they will not scare us, because Uganda is exceptional. And we are ready to invest all our blood to defend our territory and our sovereignty against terrorism. And whoever is financing terrorism, I want to let you know, Uganda will not allow that financing into our country to destabilize the peace and the enforcement of our peace and security mechanism around the region. And that's why I'm here. Thank you for inviting me. And it's just inclusive mechanism, all of society approach against terrorism. And so I call upon the marketers, the parents, the teachers, the faith leaders, the kings. You kings, get out of the kingdoms. Now we have to fight together. As young people, we are saying no, we must unite against tribalism, against political intolerance, religious kind of, those kind of things that divide us is what the terrorists want to use. But going to Kayanja's church will not threaten us. We will defeat you, and you're already defeated.
Now, talking about terrorism, we know it takes various forms. But now we are handling a case where we are talking about improvised explosive devices. We are now handling a case where we are talking about Milton Kambura, Chirabo Robert, or any other are Ugandan, either born in Uganda and recruited, maybe in the jungles of Congo, then they come back, or within this system. We have tourism home. It's not the kind of tourism one would say these are people who are going to come in from Somalia. These are the complicated bombs that by look at something, someone can say, this is a unique object. This might be a bomb. Today you're talking about things like a food flask, a mobile phone, then a battery of some combination, funny things using nails and all that. Don't you think that now it's tougher and harder than it were previous?
That one is easy because they have failed to import their manufactured bombs that are self-contained. Now they have agents within our country that they have trained over the years, and these are young people, that yes, work for us. This is how they manufacture and improvised, as the word called improvised. It is not the real bomb.
IEDs.
Exactly. So they are saying, okay, get a bottle, put in fuel, put some glasses, some of these, they will work as fragments for maybe a rocket-propelled grenade or a landmine. So they are trying to use those rented houses in those slums, some not only homes, so they are manufacturing locally. But these are agents of an international mechanism because the agenda is big. So the Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, ADF, even Kony himself is still alive. We have put $100 million to fight, to look for him, that whoever, this is free money, UP Ugandans, look for Kony so that America pays you $100 million. So we are saying we will defeat you on our borders. So they cannot now, they have failed, they cannot bring bombs in our country. Now, these young boys and girls that are agents, they are agents of the terrorists, terrorist groups all over the world. Please, my friends, my sisters, my brothers, my uncles, my mothers, my sisters, please, that will not work. And I beg you, please, that's a failed mission. We should love our country, because if we destroy our country, we have nowhere to go. Now, even the funding has been cut. We can no longer get loans from World Bank. Well, that means we have to unite ourselves, whether we like it or not. We must love Uganda and not be able to harm the neighbors. We need now one another. Because the Muzungu is saying no more money. That means we must love each other, Mr. Chirabo. It means we must secure our borders. It means we must provide and voluntarily offer intelligence information. What have you seen? What have you heard? Does it help the country to grow, or it harms the neighbor, or it harms the country? Go to police and report. Now our biggest problem of terrorism is the financing mechanism of terrorism. Those that are agents, but then the causes of this terrorism is these issues of inequality, of wetali bwenkanya. Abantu nibayomba, nibakayana, people get even to say, I hate Uganda. Those become now easy targets for terrorism. And I call upon... For recruiting, because people no longer love their country. They are tired. They want to commit suicide. You understand? So sometimes these issues of tear gas, I'm happy. Bob Wine, he went to Manyahwea, Chigezi, there was no tear gas. That is good. It means even the right leaders will come and join politics, because it is peaceful. It doesn't make people die. No tear gas, so people can walk. Now they are going to be walking, because somehow we thought politics is all about tear gas. Now, if you remove tear gas from politics, bullets, now people will talk. After talking, they go home tired. That is okay. The issue of land, I told you that terrorism is, these agents are used, but they are frustrated. So they become easy targets. They now say, why can't I be given $1,000 and I go to parliament and bomb those parliamentarians? But that wenkanya, justice, peace, loving one another, forgiving one another. The parents must nurture good character in children, because these are the ones that now learn afterwards that, okay, daddy can beat mommy. You are nurturing terrorism in your own home. So UPDF and police and the judiciary, corruption must be dealt with, because corruption is the vehicle of terrorism. Because now, after I have bribed somebody and I lose my land, the judge has said, if you give me 100 million, you will win the case. Now here, the judgment says you have lost the case. That man will say, you understand that? Now, there is food insecurity. Countries that have these issues, if you study the research, you will see that those people are hungry. Because a hungry person is an angry person. So we want to make sure that, yes, Uganda has fertile soils, has kind of good climate, has plenty of fresh water, has good, so it means every home must have food. So that our people, their anger is down. That means that we got to give them seeds. We must organize them as farmers. Technology, we must give them technology so that the country has people who are really fully down here. So that the central system is what? So at the end of the day, my friends, my Ugandans, is that time has reached when we go to love ourselves. We must learn how to love ourselves so that if you see an abandoned bag, don't just pass and go. Tell your neighbor and put some kind of mark and say, do not touch that abandoned bag. Let us report to the police. Be a volunteer. Every Ugandan must be a volunteer.
Now, that said, Milton,
yes,
we know that the current attacks or even the recent attacks, our government as security forces have attributed this to the ADF, the Allied Democratic Forces, which we saw our UPDF go in the jungles of Congo to hunt them. And of course, they have shown and reported some progress. Those are captured, those are put out of action. We've seen bases destroyed and all that. But one thing that is very clear is all this has something connecting to indoctrination or playing around with the thinking and some ideology they are following. Now, how best do we address this? There are clips that have been circulating and many Ugandans have seen them, where you see very young boys. And one thing they will tell you, Allah, as I'm going in this battle, not to say, and I want to make this very clear, my dear viewers, what I'm saying has no connection with a particular religion. No, because these are radical people. Yes. These are radical people and not the normal Muslims. These are extremists. But they indoctrinate. They brainwash, you know. When you listen or when you look at the record of those that have been arrested as suspects, all of them point to one direction of faith. Yet they were maybe previously from another faith. Yes. And they were told to take on these other names. So how do we then uproot this level of terrorism?
Very good. Mr. Chirabo.
Which is not all just about money, like you said. If someone has lost, someone wants money and is easy taken for money. This goes beyond money.
Yes. Now, this is why we had a very good meeting with Interreligious Council. Last month, we really had a very good meeting chaired by our Archbishop Mugalu, the Archbishop of the Anglican Church. And there was Sheikh Waiso Ali and the entire Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, the Anglican Church, the Catholic Church, the SDA Church, the Pentecostal, all of them were represented. And what we have agreed is how do we demystify these violent extremism teachings, and but also to find a way of reducing tensions in the communities, identity-based conflicts, if for example in Rwenzori. And so we have been working there as Global Peace Foundation, and with the working alongside in partnership with Interreligious Council structures, we are sure we are going to deal with that. Now, you have mentioned about something very important, and that's why we are now going to build what we call the Africa Peace Center, where these sheikhs, for example, there are some sheikhs who have been trained with the scholarships that we have. Someone is trained from Iran, others are trained from all over the world. When they come back, everyone has a different way of teaching mechanism, a teaching culture. Others come from training centers which have depicted a very wrong perspective on the Christians. So when they come, maybe the card in some village somewhere in the district, the way he teaches, he is actually recruiting and mobilizing young people to actually disregard the respect and the love towards other religions and possibly see them as enemies. So we are going to build that center to really retrain, to retool all religious leaders in the country on how they can understand the concept of interfaith leadership. That regardless of religion, regardless of tribe, regardless of political affiliation, we are all one family, one Ugandan family under God. That you don't need to actually fail to work with Mr. Chirabo because you are Muhammad or Ali because of his religion or political party. This is the time, and it's not only in religion, also in political parties. If I put on my yellow, then they say that is NRM. If they see me taking a cup of tea with him, they will think I am a betrayer. You understand? You can imagine, even Bob Wine meeting Museveni in this country, you are talking about religion. Do you know that if today, I tell you the truth, if Bob Wine is found in the State House discussing with Museveni, he will lose 90% of his votes. So that's how stupid, that's how immature this country is. So we are saying those can be seeds of terrorism, because a divided country is actually very open for terrorists to operate. And so we are saying a successful story in DRC, our response, our counter-terrorism attack on these bad boys in the forest. These are young boys, 14 years, 13 years, 18 years, 25 years. Is a commander called Baruku from my village. I know him. I know his village, Choa, and I am talking about people I know. So this is the time that we are saying that we must also assess what they are teaching in the churches, in the mosques. These kings must be united. Our religious leaders must be united. Our political party leaders must be united against terrorism. Where are the political party leaders? Where are they? Now they are saying Kayanja's a problem. Can you imagine? I found some fools on the road yesterday. Kayanja, why is the Kayanja always being the one who attacked? Can you imagine? How do you say that nonsense? Tomorrow it is you. Tomorrow it was you at the airport, may not be the church. Or you may be visiting Kabaka Mwenda Mutebi and on his birthday, and they attack. So I am calling Ugandans. This is the time that we have. We are alive. God has given us life. It's our responsibility to protect this life. This is the time to join His Excellency the President Museveni on the fight against terrorism. Because some of you sleep, but you do not know that we have people who spend sleepless nights guarding this country, and for you are snoring and even have a chance to dream about you are dead, and dreaming about you are flying, about you are dreaming and sleeping because some of these young people are outside guarding the country. So if we are threatened, and for you are still saying Museveni should go away, and you are not joining him at this particular time when we have a threat, then we will not vote you.
Well, I'm still with Milton Kambula, Global Peace Ambassador. I told you this is a very interesting character, very passionate on certain issues, more so when fighting terrorism. But the biggest issue here is, how do we move forward? We don't, security has assured us there is no need to panic. The situation is under control. Let's be calm. They're managing it. Let's just cooperate with it, with security agencies. Anything you see, use the eye as the best weapon. Communicate in time. Avoid that particular area. So we've been given these tips. But Milton, I don't know how often you move around when you're driving, but decide to take a walk through. And yesterday I did that. I had the defense spokesperson, Brigadier General Felix Kulaiji, still in the city. And I said, no, let's stroll around and look at how active we are.
Yes.
And I can't say my discoveries were very disappointing, including finding people as you were talking. You know, when you're moving on the streets of Kampala, sometimes it's hard. Calm. And of course, these are your loyal viewers.
Yes.
You equally have to be loyal to them. So you spend hours explaining, hello, we watch you. And you know, one of the things that came out is how I found that even despite having such a show, there were still some Ugandans that doubt if these are real. You know, some were still saying, Chirabo, please, Flaska, this. You know, there is a where society has gone to. You know,
yes.
Someone, and I was like, you people.
They think it is a joke.
Why I've walked is first to see vigilancy, to see if these places there's checking. But what I found was the opposite.
Now let me tell you, Ugandans, don't joke. I was in the Middle East when we were capturing Baghdad. I remember the war on Baghdad, capturing Baghdad. I tell you, after Baghdad we went to Talir, we went to Al-Assad, we went in those. These people had Actually, they were operating the whole Iraq provinces. Now, terrorists exist. My Ugandans, terrorists exist. Go to Kenya. They attack in Kenya. Attack even on the embassy of America in Tanzania. Some of you who doubt, you visit my office. I have a young man called Khalid. Khalid is one of our Global Peace Youth coordinators in the country. He survived those terrorists in that place where that Chadondo rugby pitch. His colleagues died. So whoever is there is saying, okay, if you doubt that, start look. Actually use YouTube and watch, even go to Luzira. The suspects are there. Criminals were arrested. They even accepted. They gave all the information. They were judged. They are serving their sentence in Luzira. Now, if you are still doubting, I want to tell you, you will lose your life. And Uganda will move on. Now, what I'm saying is, are you a security guard? Are you a policeman? Are you a UPDF officer? Now, are you a businessman? If you're a businessman, you have spent 50 millions building an infrastructure. What fails you to look for 2 million shillings only and put cameras everywhere and start seeing all your business infrastructure, even your home? I have a mobile app here. I can be and watch my home, my children, my wife, everybody when I'm here. I say, oh, that one is not on the appointment. Please lock. I can even lock my gate when I am here at UBC. With this technology that is cheap, you people, we can fight terrorism even using our phones, using our unity, using our cameras. This is the time the private sector should bring cameras. Every Ugandan home should have a camera. Our roads cameras. Now you see security guards, they just massage us like this while they are looking. They are on WhatsApp, their boyfriends. The bomb has entered. Can you imagine? Saracen, wake up. Hey, this is Manya G4S. This is the security group. All of you are not. These days they just sleep, snoring at night. Some policemen are even being can you imagine? So it has been really, we have been lucky that God loves Uganda. And now that this man called the terrorist is our own child. Can you imagine? It's no longer Bin Laden after all he died. He has the Ugandans, your son, your daughter, who's now in that bush, in that room you don't check on daily basis. He's the one going to manufacture a bomb from your own home. Listen to me very carefully. With the exhaustion people have, listen to this. With the exhaustion people have, you see even too much peace, people tend to sleep. Now when you have that kind of mentality that we have been there, Uganda, you even drive at night from border to border. Now that is the environment a terrorist wants, because he doesn't want you to be alert. When you have that division in your community, 0C1s are sleeping, no meetings of the village to wake them up. Now the terrorists will come and use now. We will enter properly. We used to have the mechanism of the city. I don't know if it is still there. We used to have every month reawakening of people on media. In this country, media houses are the agents of terrorism. They don't have these programs like UBC. Can you imagine? From year to year, you have never hosted experts like us and to talk about terrorism and strengthening peace and security, and you call yourself a radio. Can you imagine? Na yo sanga yo bino bya alien
Kambra, don't go to that direction.
We want to make sure we have programs that unite our Ugandans, build their future, transform Uganda. Then we call you a media. Social media is not just a social, because social means your next neighbor. People don't know their neighbors, but they're on social media. Social media starts with your neighbor physically before
neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch.
Well, we'll pick it up at that. Let's go for a short break.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
wage Shadia. Onkubira akasimu nensiya nga papa omutawana ki ngola bikawera likiride.
You are a manja. Kankubuli basooka ne bampeereza ekipapula kya miliyoni 2 omwaka guli nempalapalanya nesibasasula nengira ki mbandi wano nga bandeetedde ekipapula kya miliyoni 6 mbasimanyi mulimu penalite simanyi mulimu biki ng'omusolo gwazaala abaana n'abazzukulu sikulimba gwokola otya
vaawo naawe Shadia omusolo tegukulemesa site naawe ng'ate gavumenti yabigonza
kati nkole ntya
okimanyi nti bw'osasula kati omusolo gwo gwonna ogukubanjibwa okuva emabega okutuuka nga 3 June 2023 tojja kusasula magoba na ngasi oba ziyite penalties.
Kisoboka kiti ekyo
abasuubuzi ababadde babanjibwa emisolo emikadde gavumenti yatuteerawo waiver
byebiki
okay kati kiriwo ekiti omwaka gw'ebyensimbi guno ogwatandikanga mu July 2023 gavumenti yagamba nti buli muntu asasula omusolo gwe mu bujjuvu nga 31 December terunatuuka ajja kusonyiyibwa amagoba n'engasi oba ziyite penalties. Yes kyekyo bwekiti bwe kitambula akasanyuko katambula.
Leka naawe nga URA ekusonyiwa omusolo yeekuddako tebasobola
kitunudde bwoti baali bakubanja miliyoni 2 kati ne bakuleeta ekipapula kya miliyoni 6 nga bataddeko engasi n'amagoba okitegeera kaakati bw'osasula kati ojja kusasula miliyoni 2 zokka kati gana amagoba n'engasi agaweze miliyoni 4 tojja gasasula bagakusonyiwa
bane biweeva mbisangewo okusasula
sasula mu bujjuvu omusolo gwo gwokka ogukubanjibwa ng'okozesa emikutu egy'enjawulo ekisasulirwako omusolo oba nyiga kamunyenye 285 kadaala oba genda ku ofiisi ya URA yonna ekuli okumpi oluŋŋamizibwe ng'omukisa guno tegunnaggwako. Uganda Revenue Authority tukulaakulanyize wamu Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
I'm called Ezekiel Vanjikate. We are staying in Visala village that is in Luka district. This is a commercial agriculture farm purely run on a family basis. We are now concentrating on coffee, and we got that coffee in 2018 from Operation Wealth Creation. NADS gave us the solar water pump, which we are currently using to put up irrigation on the farm and be able to irrigate the coffee, which is sitting on a 30-acre area. What we're able to reap out of the coffee, we're able to sell it off and make an expansion, because with irrigation you can't go wrong, but be able to pick all around the whole year. And that's all income that will be coming in. On a special thanks goes to Operation Wealth Creation, to the district local government in Luka district that has also given us the support to supervise all the work that we have been doing. And finally, NADS that gave us the solar water pump.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break. Thank you for being with us and keeping it on UBC TV. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra, and we are looking at averting or fighting terrorism in our country. Of course, the weekend we saw what would have been maybe a very serious, horrible situation where, according to security, they were able to recover 6 bombs within Kampala metropolitan, and these had they exploded 6 improvised explosive devices, and one was at Rubaga Miracle Center. Now, this many people have talked about because I think it was even captured what has been detonated, and so much has been said. Now, I have Milton Kambura, in case you've just joined. He's the Global Peace Ambassador, done a lot of missions in areas where terrorism is at its peak. Now, the ordinary person, yes, you know, security will play its part, but how can the ordinary person join the fight to defeat terrorism?
Actually, response to attacking or reducing or countering terrorism is not just security personnel. 90% of the war, global war against terrorism, as we have structured it right now globally, is that the civilians contribute to 98% of the results against terrorism. So when the population is awakened about terrorism, the terrorist has no way he can penetrate and survive in such a country. So as a local Ugandan, one, be vigilant. Be vigilant. Start being security conscious. You are a man in a home, but you are the first one who goes to your bed and you leave your wife in the sitting room. You have not locked your door. You man, are you a husband or a good father? So that is the way it begins. You don't even have consciousness to even lock your doors in the home. That means you are not security conscious. Are you in a taxi, but you are the only one remaining, and you see a huge bag outside? Someone has left it there, and you cannot actually ask the driver, say, oh, why? You are in a complex, you are 5 people in a family. The driver is drunk, all of you are drunk, the children are drunk, the mother is, who is going to drive the car? A drunkard can't drive a car. So you have to have one person who will not drink and must be a competent driver. That is being a security conscious. Now, lastly, is that everywhere you go, there must be a security checkpoint. But this security checkpoint, who is searching? The one who's searching has a lot to do with our safety and peace in the country. If a terrorist knows that every building, every home, the roads everywhere they check, and the people checking know what they are doing, that terrorist will remain in his Middle East there or anywhere where his headquarters is. So this is now to you Ugandans, all of you. One, if you hear that just put your ear tugenda kuteekamu sente to promoting ebintu ebyo byotegedde n'obutujju. Report to the police. The ears must work so that we end financing of terrorism. Now, another last one is the actions of our security agencies. There must be what we call integrated security mechanism against terrorism. The traffic officer is asking for a driving permit. He looks in, and now he goes out and he's given a blow. You know what I'm talking about. The driver gets out and they shake hands. You think they are greeting each other. The traffic officer must know that he's part of the mechanism fighting terrorism by making sure he enters inside and checks what is inside. He asks the driver, please, he must, but now the traffic officers of Uganda, they seem to be on permits, good tires. Now, the intelligence officer who is not educated cannot in 21st century be a good intelligence officer. He's talking, but you see, and he doesn't know how to use technology. Today's terrorism is used on technology. So our terrorism mechanism, our counter-terrorism mechanism must be backed up by the right intelligence squads on the ground. LOC1s, LOC2, the whole local government must be trained on how to fight terrorism. Parents, children, the students, part of the curriculum I request that we must have intentional school programs on counter-terrorism so that our children grow knowing that obutujju bwetuti bwe bava ku ssomero abagenda direct waka si kusooka wali mukasaka mukabira ne basooka ne bamutegeka kati tugenda kutegeka bwetu. You see, terrorists can prepare you, Mr. Chisubi. For 10 years they are preparing a child. 20 years they are preparing a child. So we must have somehow even intentional educational or high school or university counter-terrorism programs. But lastly is on financing. Our budget at national level. Because some of you say in the center is a security nyingi. Yes, the economy is growing. If it is growing, we need an equal measure to protect the cities we are building, the homes we are building, the economy that we are building, the businesses that we are building. So it requires a parliamentary intentional focus on budget. The national budget is not enough. And where I say it is not enough is that much of the money is eaten in other sectors. Corruption. Can you imagine? The leaders are just working for their
So basically, in brief, we need to improve our budget when it comes to that area.
Exactly.
Well, Milton, when I look at time, we have a few minutes to be moving out here, and of course our viewers later on will be having a live coming in from Speak Resort Munyonyo. It is the Uganda South Africa Business Investment Summit that is taking place, and His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is expected at this venue today. It began yesterday, and today will be the closing. So in case we move to that direction, well, we just be aware of what is happening. Now, Milton, as I let you out of the studios, what is your final remark?
My final remark is that tuli bakawonawo bwe tuli bakawonawo nganze nga bwe nali kawonawo na survivinga bomu yiyo eyali fragment namba ku kigere kino. So abakamera ndowooza mujja kikwata another day kubanga tebajja kiraba naye nze nina ebiwundu nina scars ez'abatujju.
It's an English show.
And you know, thank you for that. I am saying I am actually a kaonawo. How would we say kaonawo in English? This is
survivor.
Survivor, very good. I have scars on my body that indicate that I am not even supposed to live. I was threatened, and those fragments entered into my body. So the subject that I'm talking about, I know the pain. I know how the people that we have lost in the country and on the continent. What I'm calling upon my conclusive remarks is that please, Ugandans, let us love our country. When we love our country, we love ourselves as Ugandans, regardless of our political party differences, our religious differences, our cultural gender issues. It means buli omu ojja mwagaliza ekirungi. When you wish others well, it means you cannot hurt them and you cannot be an agent of terrorists. That is what we must teach our children. That's what must be the best for our families, so that now we have people seated in a taxi, but all of them love each other. If they see a suspect, all of them react. Drive and go for zenyo obobutojo. A bag eno yani, whose bag is this? Whose phone is this? You report to the police, but also the police 99 must work. These days you call 99, hello? Oh, please wait. That kind of nonsense, a terrorist will operate. There must be a swift, quick responses. Responsible citizens, responsible civil servants, responsible parents, responsible faith leaders, responsible kings and leaders. From President Museveni up to the LC1, if all of us are functioning, Uganda will attract international funding, will attract investors, because now already the US Embassy has put this on their website. That means Americans are not going to come to tour the country. And that means threatening the economy of the country. So, colleagues and Ugandans, I love my country. That's why I'm passionate about my country. I really want all of us to unite. Let us put our differences outside and build Uganda and transform Uganda for the next 100 years, so that our children and grandchildren are peaceful and very happy. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Milton Kambura, for your time and, of course, some insight into how best we can fight terrorism. Above all, I want to thank you, my viewer. Thank you so much for being with us. Those that began their day at 6:30 with us, thank you so much for your time. And those that have been joining, but don't forget, we are also always on YouTube. So in case you missed a segment, particular bit of this show, you can Go and watch us rewind forward, and every show we look forward to your input. We have our WhatsApp number. Please always take use of that and send in messages on the topic of discussion, both WhatsApp and a text message. Have a lovely day. God bless you. See you tomorrow, God willing, for God and my country. Good morning.
Thank you, sir.